Phase one of the NHL Draft lottery went on Friday night, and it didn't go as expected as we welcome in our analyst, Brian Burke. And Brian, don't shoot the messenger. I know you hate this sort of thing, but we're going to have a team that didn't finish with one of the worst 8 records in the National Hockey League, selecting first overall. Your thoughts?
Well, when we started doing drafts in pro sports, it was always inverse order of finish. So the worst team got the best player. Then we went to a lottery because teams tanked. And I support the lottery. But to me, I have a prop here. If you've got a problem you got to fix, you pick the smallest Band-Aid you can use that'll fix the problem. There should only be 5 teams in the draft lottery. The notion that a team could finish, just miss the playoffs, and pick as high as 2 or 3 or 1 is crazy to me. I really don't. I think the league gets everything right, or almost everything right. This makes no sense to me. And this has been my position for years, by the way. So tonight, it should have just been the 7 teams that are not in the play-in round. Do it that way. Give the teams that need the most help, the best players. And I think this result is nothing short of a disgrace.
And listen, I can vouch for you. And to the point you've made, this has been one of your big talking points, has been like, how can this be? How can this be? We're going to get a situation like this. And we've seen it numerous times, Brian, in the last 5-6 years. In fact, the only team that finished with the worst record to select first overall in the last handful of years, I believe, was the Toronto Maple Leafs with Austin Matthews. So more often than not, you finish with the worst record, like Detroit, who are miles behind everyone else. And, they're going to end up with the 4th pick. You mentioned the top 5 worst teams should be in the lottery. I mean, is there a perfect way to do this where you're not encouraging tanking and teams playing below their potential and GMs and coaches coaching below their potential just to get a better pick?
That's always going to be available to teams. They're always going to have that option. There's no way to prevent that. But what you want to do is reduce their chances of reaping a benefit if they tank. So you have a lottery. So you say, okay, you're the worst team. You've got a 25% chance. So you reduce the incentive to tank. You reduce the chance for the team to be rewarded for tanking. I get it. It makes sense. But you're going to have a team. Detroit had 39 points at the pause, if I'm not mistaken. You could have a team that had 35 more points than that. Pick ahead of them. Pick first. I really don't understand it. Like, as a hockey GM, I would be screaming bloody murder. I'd be like, what are you talking about? If we have 39 points at the break, we should have a shot at picking number 1 and not subject to lottery from 15 teams.
Who was the biggest loser on Friday? Was it Detroit, who slipped from 1st to 4th, essentially, although Ottawa had a better likelihood of getting that 1st pick by virtue of the fact they had the 2nd and 3rd best overall odds? Would you say Ottawa was the big loser? Detroit's the big loser? Who would you single out?
Well, I think they're both big losers. I think they're both disappointed, although I will say this is a deep draft. They're both going to get good players with their picks. So it's not the end of the world for anyone. But if Lafreniere is what we all think he's going to be, he should be playing for one of those 2 teams. And to me, that this is where it's all off base, is the notion that a team that finished with 20 more points, 25 more points, 30 more points can pick ahead of you. How is that equitable or fair?
Is the worst case scenario now, staring down this phase 2, that we do have a big upset in the qualifying round and you have the 5 seed in the East, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are a very talented team, or the 5 seed in the West, the Edmonton Oilers, who are a very talented team. They somehow get upset in the first round and end up with another franchise player. Is that the worst case scenario for the league?
Yes, and I've been complaining about this all week. This is not, I said yesterday on the radio that this was likely to happen, that there would be a placeholder in the top 3. I didn't predict it would be number 1. But this, to me, I think it makes our league look really bad. I think it makes our league look Mickey Mouse, and we're not Mickey Mouse. This is one small problem, but it's got to be fixed. If you're watching, if you're Bob Murray tonight, what do you think of these proceedings? You think it's equitable that they're going to pick behind a team that might have had 25 more points than they did? It's not fair. And the notion that you put all these teams in doesn't make any sense. It's not equitable. It's not fair, and it can be fixed.
I'll leave you with this, Berkey. Do you feel there is some momentum to make some amendments to this system to do what you're suggesting? Are there other GMs on board, or are you on an island on your own thinking this?
Well, first off, I'm very happy to be on an island. You know that. I'm going to say what I think, and if I'm on an island, I'm on an island. I've never minded being on an island if I thought I was right. But yes, I know for a fact there are a number of GMs that agree with me, and my phone's blowing up tonight. So, yeah, I know there's other support for this. But I don't get it. The league gets so much right, and they can't get this right. But I'm guessing as Gary and Bill fly back or drive back into New York City from the NHL studios, they're wondering, is there a better way to do this? Because this is a real sore spot, I think, for the league.
Well, if you enjoy chaos, you enjoyed what we witnessed tonight in the NHL Draft Lottery Phase 1. Yes, there'll be a Phase 2 where we'll decide who gets the top pick overall at the upcoming NHL entry draft. Brian Burke, always good to see you, buddy, and be well. We'll talk soon and save some of this good stuff for To The Point, all right?
All right, I will. Thanks, David.